The word budget has gotten so much heat because it's been explained to you guys in the wrong way. From here on out, when you hear budget, I want you to think about being able to spend your money however you'd like, and you get to be in control. Whatever you want to buy, you can buy it. Whatever you want to save for, you can save for. If you want to invest more money or pay off credit cards quicker, it's at your disposal. You are in control when you do this right. So a budget is not a negative thing, it's a very positive thing. It's the only way you're going to get to whatever financial goal you have for yourself. I know when I used to hear the word budget, I would just basically think cut things out of my life or just hardcore minimalist or something that just wasn't me. And I know that that's the same for a lot of you guys. So this video is going to teach you to be able to do the things you like, spend the money wherever it is that makes you happy and gives you joy, but also at the end of the month, have a little money left over to be able to save or invest or do something that your future self will be very happy with. Now, if you guys are like me, at some point in time in your life, you probably said something like, if I just make a little more money, everything will be okay. At that point, I'll pay off my debt, or at that point, that's when I'll start saving. Unfortunately, that just doesn't happen. There's just so many statistics that show that even if you make a little extra money, your expenses go up a little bit with it, and that's called lifestyle inflation, but we're not going to get into that right now. Just trust me that it's a thing, and it's why there's so many people who are making over $100,000 a year and still in debt or still living paycheck to paycheck. So where do we start with this whole budget thing? First of all, the thing that's probably going to help you out the most is going to be to like this video and subscribe to the channel so that you can continue to learn and make wise financial decisions as you learn how to save that money and invest it correctly. So now for real, step one in this budget is to figure out your health report. Now by health report, what I mean is take a look at your total income per month and your total expenses per month. This is super easy. You can just look at your bank statement, kind of see how much money came in, how much money went out. Also take into account anything that you put on credit cards or any student loans. Most of you probably already know where you're at with this, but it's good to take an actual assessment of it. If you keep seeing your credit card amount go up each month, that gives you a pretty good indicator that you're probably at about even or spending more than you're making. And a really good video for you guys to watch on credit card mistakes is here. So go ahead and take a look at that after this video, because credit cards are the silent killer unless you learn how to use them right. So step one was just basically to get an overview of how much money is coming in and how much money is going out. Once you have that set, it's time for step number two, which is to go deep into your expenses and find out if there's any glaring weaknesses. What I mean is, where are you spending money that isn't 100% necessary and also can be something that you can cut back on a little bit? In that expense column, you're gonna look at things like groceries and gas and utilities and rent and things that you absolutely need and put that on one side. On the other side of that should be things that you want to pay because they're fun, but it's something that you definitely could cut down on just a little bit. For example, if you're spending $10 a day at Starbucks, that's about $300 a month. And if we could just cut that down to half, $150 a month, you still get to have your Starbucks every day, but maybe you don't have the Starbucks and the banana walnut bread. We just cleared up $150 extra dollars that now you can use to further your financial freedom. So now that we know where we're spending, step number three and especially step number four are incredibly important. So now step number three is basically to put together a preliminary budget based off of the data that we just figured out. So for example, if you're bringing in $2,500 a month, next you're gonna put different categories that are 100% need. So let's say that your rent is $1,500, utilities are $150 per month. On average, you're spending $300 in groceries per month. And let's say that you have a dog, and so you spend about $50 a month, whether that be in food or in haircuts or things like that. So basically all the categories and things that you for sure will spend on every single month. Remember that in step number two, we figured out what expenses are absolute needs for you to live, and then also what are your fun expenses. So you need to make sure and include those. So whether that be something like fun category, or if there's very specific things that you like absolutely can't live without, like maybe it is Starbucks, or maybe it's just a fun Target shopping spree once a month. Give yourself a goal that's maybe a little less than what your bank account is showing you. Like in the example before, if you're literally spending $300 at Starbucks, first of all, you may have a problem. And second of all, I think we can bring that down a good amount. So maybe you say, all right, for the month, I have $100 that can go to Starbucks. So if you use that up in the first 10 days, that's on you. If you can stretch it out a little bit, then you get your Starbucks fix every day and you don't have to worry that you're overspending. Another category that I highly recommend is just to put a miscellaneous category. This will make it a no stress way that you have some extra money that you can allocate towards where you'd like. Your goal with this is to make it exactly even or even have just a little bit extra left over. So you write it out at the beginning of the month, and then it's your goal to try to follow that throughout the whole month. The way I do it, and have been doing it for over 15 years, is I literally print this sheet out every single month so that you have a template, and then anytime that I make expenses, anytime I go to the grocery store or whatever, I literally write it down in the box and take the money away from it. This lets me know every single day how much money I actually have and if I'm getting too close to going over or something. And so I recommend that you do this, and at about halfway through the month, you can assess. Am I about halfway through my grocery budget? Am I halfway through these types of things? That'll help you so much to make sure you stay on track and that you don't overspend. Now, putting together a budget can be stressful in your mind because you're thinking, oh, what if I mess up? What if I accidentally put $300 for groceries, but I really need $350? Or, oh man, I totally forgot about this expense that comes up like every 3 months or something like that. Well, worry not, friends, because step number 4 is all about keeping your stress level down and knowing that it's going to be okay. You're in a place where this is a totally new thing, and so why would you expect it to be perfect right out the gate? Step number 4 is to assess your budget at the end of the month, maybe at the end of 2 months, and see what needs to change. You have the freedom. This is your money. You get to spend it how you want. That's the whole point with this video. A budget should enrich your life. It should not take away from it. It should not be stressful. So you're going to look at your budget, you're going to say, okay, I went over in groceries, and then the next month, check it again. I went over in groceries again. Well, it looks like you need to put a little bit more into groceries. Now, for certain categories, things that are more like the fun category, if that keeps going over, then you just need to have a little bit more discipline and stay within that parameter. Assess what's going to be best for you and your lifestyle, and then fit it in so that there's no stress and that you can actually have something to gauge where you're at so that you can continue on whatever goals you may have. Soon enough, you're going to have a budget that just seems like normal everyday life. At first, yes, it does seem like it's a little bit of work. It's almost annoying to have to like go home and write down what you just spent on. It seems monotonous, but I promise you pretty soon it's going to be the easiest thing. It's going to be like brushing your teeth at night. You just write down your expenses, and I promise you, just like I've said throughout this whole video, the benefits far outweigh any type of inconvenience that taking 2 seconds to write something down hits you with. I think it's a little more inconvenient to have a credit card debt for the rest of your life or student loan payments forever. The magic with this budget is pretty soon you can forecast and know how much money you need for your expenses. And at any point, if you really want to start saving for something or paying something off, you now have the key to get this thing started. Because at the end of the day, if you need an extra $250 a month or something, it's very easy to look at your categories and say, okay, I can take 50 from here and 50 from here and whatever, and maybe I cut it down a bit, but at least I have a plan. This is what's going to change your life, and this is what sets the rich from the poor, is just managing money and being able to do it correctly and understanding where your money is and how you can use it to your advantage.